Hello. How we doing? Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Stream of Conscious Wes.
Welcome to Stream of Conscious West.
Okay. Wow. All right. I'm just feeling lately that life is a labor of love. I've spent many years of my life, if we add it all up, putting off labor that should have been done. I feel hesitant to say should have because it feels like placing a negative lens over the past. I imagine myself looking at all of those hours and days of my youth, lying in bed with my laptop turned on its side, just watching TV, just running through episodes, just binging Friends, Community, The Office, Parks and Rec, right? Those are like the Fab Four for me and then we'd get into the secondary six, which would be House, Psych, Great British Baking Show, what else? NCIS, Criminal Minds, and what's the final one? Of the secondary six. I never really got into a ton of reality shows. I like Drag Race, but I never really binged it. Let's see. All right, place your a secondary six. God, I know there's another show that I really was on in a secondary binging way. I can't think of it. NCIS, that doesn't really count. That's a filler. That one I would tune into when it was like on TV, like growing up as like a teen. But I didn't really get into it a whole ton, binging it on my laptop, right? Like Community and Friends, I was hitting up like the illegal streaming sites, like in my early college years. This is like circa 2011, 2012. And interesting about that time in my life, which was, you're making that transition from high school to college. And for me, there was something about that where I was no longer seeing my high school friends in an obligatory way, in the way that we had our whole lives, for extracurricular activities. Just the fact that there was like the high school social life, the high school parties, that type of thing, where once we're graduated, even like the summer after graduation, now looking back, I didn't think of it like this at the time, but I either ostracized myself or became ostracized by my friends because I was choosing getting high over hanging out with them. And slowly over those first few years of college, I started to realize, oh, all of my high school buddies are all still hitting each other up and hanging out a lot. And I'm not a part of that. I'm not getting the invites. I'm not reaching out to them. They're not reaching out to me. And in a way, we amicably went our separate ways. And now I feel regretful about that. I wish I would have not isolated myself from my community members. Now, as a 31-year-old, I have become accustomed to living a lot of my life alone. It's a huge event if I'm meeting up with a friend one time in a week. That's a crazy week for me. It didn't always used to be this way. But I think over time, and I think there's such an impact that COVID has had on the way we socialize, and on the comfort we have in developing a routine that doesn't include going out. I feel a burp coming on. So, pardon me. So now I think, there comes this time where a lot of things are intersecting in the now, which is that going out is, everything's more as expensive as it's been in our lives, right? But going out can feel like a frivolous expense. I've moved around a lot in my 20s. I haven't really lived I haven't lived in one spot more than 2 years tops. And I've barely even hit that milestone more than twice in the past 10 years. And it's felt free. And I haven't felt bad about that. But I haven't held on to or developed friendships with people that are living in the same city as me. And it's so funny. I have grief about that. Now, I certainly don't think that you have to have been moving around a lot for you to not have that core handful of friends where it's not some crazy going out event to hang out at each other's places on a regular basis. And so I think with that not being as present as I wish, I've, in a similar way to how in 2012 I was lying on my bed binging Friends on my laptop. The new version of that is that every spare 2+ minutes I have in my life, everywhere I go all the time, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, the big three. What are your big three? Mine are YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Mine are YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And there's a comfortable feeling in having found the people who post videos and content that I like, and to see them as individuals versus the way that I looked at the cast of Friends and the presence of a TV show in my life versus the presence of YouTubers and TikTok people who I can look at and say, that's an individual. That's Chris Sampson, not a real person. That's a lot of people I don't even know their names, and yet they are familiar to me. And a lot of people are out here posting videos every day. I certainly have gone through my phase of posting videos every day. What do I hope to gain, right? What are content creators gaining from putting out a consistent flow of videos? Well, engagement, more opportunities for the next video to be one where people who've never seen your stuff before will find it and have the opportunity to decide if they might want to see some more. And that feels like it fills up something akin to a social bucket. My social life isn't in my physical, tangible life lately, the past 4 or 5 years. And there's grief around that. And I want to figure out how I can discover the next phase where I'm meeting people, befriending people, getting to know them better, having a consistent social life, going to events, having intimate dinners, having fun, cute hangouts that don't have to be deep, having deep, long, smoking cigs on the back porch after a night of drinking, going out, going to spiritual events. Lane and I had this period of about a year where we were leading breathwork ceremonies at our house out in Portland, Oregon. And we met a lot of really cool people from that. And there was a way that it was in our home. So there was this immediate level of intimacy, even from the people that we had never met, who took a chance to come to our event. And I don't want my social life to be just people who show up to events that I'm hosting and stuff where there's a lot of leadership and where it's not quite an even playing field where Lane and I might be facilitating the conversation and connection in a way that isn't like necessarily like teacher and pupil, but it's like we've done the work of setting up the parameters of what this container of time is going to be. And we can make that really, really, really valuable and meaningful for the people that are there to share in that bucket of time with us. Now, there's also something to be said about the classic meeting up for coffee to sit at a table across from another friend and catch up and chat for 2 hours as an example. And that's meaningful and that means a lot. You know, I've been meaning to hit up a new friend of mine to schedule a time for them to come over and hang out. And I've been putting it off. I'm in this mode right now where I've had the past 6 weeks where I've been working overnight shifts doing in-home caregiving. That's my current job. And I don't always have overnight shifts, but I have a client who needs overnight care, and I've taken on 3 nights a week over the past 6 weeks. And it has thrown a wrench in the way that I schedule my life and my time. And so things like planning dates for friend dates has been really hard. We had a couple inches of snow a few days ago, and I got a day off work, and then I got a couple more days off work, and I've been like swimming in this nebulous of free time to rest and to relax. And it's felt a little bit crazy because I've been in this go, go, go. I'm saving up money. I'm making money. I'm working 40 plus hours a week, and I'm sleeping during the day, and I'm staying up all night at work. And then I have days where I'm normal, and then I'm helping out my grandparents a couple days a week. And then I've had to cancel on them a few times because my schedule has been wacky, and I'm taking on new stuff. And yet, amidst all of this, what I sure as hell have made time for is to scroll on TikTok all fucking day, every damn day. It's too much. I'm a TikTok adult. It's my pacifier. I can recognize that. And I want to change it. And there is some recognition that it feels hard to do when I'm in a mode or a mood to be posting my own videos. Where I grandfather it in by saying, well, I'm just checking to see if there are any fun comments to read and respond to. And that may be true. But I also know that I don't need to control myself by outlawing the attractive time suck. I don't need to change my life by going TikTok free, by saying this is now off limits. Maybe doing that for a short time helps. I don't know. What I do know is that when I spend the time to set up my camera and to put on my glasses, hello, and to crack open a nice LaCroix, that this is some time that feels good. And this is the type of time that, in lieu of, life in college, on college campus, oh my God, do I cherish those memories. All my friends, 5 to 10 minute walk away, all day, every day, between classes, meeting up in the cafeteria at 10 a.m., going to dinner, getting together, doing homework side by side, parallel play, going out on the weekends, not having it be a question of should I go and see people, it's what are our plans going to be. It was like we already knew that we were going to be together. I already knew that there was going to be some thing that was going to be going on. And sure, sometimes I might have isolated myself a bit. But that was a rarity. Now, when I'm spending all my time alone, unless I've planned something 2 weeks in advance, it can feel overwhelming. And like I've come to expect that type of freedom in my schedule. I need my time after work to make myself dinner, to sit on the couch, to connect with my partner Lane, to take care of some chores, to plan for the next day, to get to bed early so I'm not dead for work the next day. Vibrant social life amidst this capitalistic hellscape, golly, it feels like an intense ask. That if I acknowledge that I want to try to forge that in a way that it hasn't been fully present in my life, probably since college, about 10 years ago, is when I graduated college. So, here, phone recording, friends, non-existent or friends that live far away, friends where we both say, I love you, but we don't include each other regularly in our lives, even monthly. Some of the best friends in my lives, the guys whose weddings I've been in, I haven't caught up with them in 6+ months. For all intents and purposes, they're not really my best friends anymore. We don't reach out to each other. Neither of us. It's not like it's a one-way street and people aren't responding to me. I'm not hitting them up. I communicate with my family members often out of a feeling of obligation. Even though I do care about them and I love my family. But it's a lot. And I make it out to be bothersome to respond to my grandmother's loving text or to my mom saying, hey, call me sometime. I find myself rolling my eyes. Mom. And I think to myself, what are we going to talk about? But then when I hop on the horn with mi madre, I share with her what's up. And she's happy to hear from me. And it feels good to tell her what I've been doing and what's been going on for me. So, as comfortable as it is to stay in my little bubble, it could use a little pop. What is this bubble made of? I think a lot of it is this it's like I'm pre-rejecting what I have to share, assuming that there's gonna be some judgment from the people that I might want to share with. We might have this thought in our heads that everyone else out there is probably busy anyway. So, I think in some ways I would like to use this platform that I've built that now feels like a tangible thing. It feels like when I record a video like this, it's a podcast. And my podcast exists right alongside Sabrina Carpenter's albums in the Spotify app. It's real. I've made this real. And I don't have to improve or keep some arbitrary schedule, but I do want to include the people that are in my life, that are my physical friends, and that are my internet friends, and that are just people who we've crossed paths throughout our lives at one point or another. Because I think a lot of us could use a planned out moment, even if we're both just sitting in our own homes, to take a big breath, slow down a little bit, talk about real shit, wax poetic on the trajectory of our journey and the ups and downs and the perspectives that we have to share. Because as the years go by, the wisdom within us builds up. You know, imagine like taking wet sand, and you take a big ball of wet sand and then you can kind of drop it on itself and it kind of starts to build up, and then it'll fall and it'll build up. That's like what the wisdom of time is like. You can hold the wet sand, drop. The third drop is stacked. It's getting like this. Then the fourth drop topples and topples. But then where they topple is raised. And everything topples, and everything just all slowly and slowly. The wisdom of the height of wisdom doesn't ever get so high. We're not building ourselves up to be some wobbly, single, stacked, skyscraper that could be easily blown over. We're building up a few things and they become part of who we are. We build up a few things and they become part of who we are. We build up a few things and they become part of who we are. And who we are is a beautiful stack of every day that we've ever lived. And we don't have to try to become who we are. It just happens. The passage of time. The sands through the hourglass. Our lives will pass. And the words on the headstones whence we die shall read, this person was alive. I don't want to be buried in a cemetery. I don't want to buy land and stake my claim forever and always to prove to those who come after me that I was here. What a crazy experience to walk through any of the thousands and thousands of cemeteries across America. I don't know what the other what other cultures do the way we do cemeteries, but when I look at a cemetery, I think, damn, wouldn't this be a good park? Wouldn't this be a really great park? Couldn't we fit a playground, a public pool, a big field with a concert stage, fields for the youth and the elders to run and play games of soccer and tag and cricket and football, ride bikes around a skate park, a BMX track. But no, it's full of cement blocks etched with the names of people who have since died. Patrolled by the employee who says, "Hey, what are you doing here trespassing on the cemetery? This is not a place for fun. You do not frolic in the cemetery. No, you bow your head. And you only bow your head if you got a relative." Right? Or some shit. I don't know the rules of cemeteries. Feels like there are rules, though. Feels like it's a place where if the security guard sees you and your buddies were jumping over headstones, boy, you're going to get kicked out. Because you don't jump over these. No. This is serious. There are someone's bones down there. How do you think their bones would feel? Nothing. It's bones. And it's taking up some pretty prime real estate in this gorgeous city, good sir. And yet we know that the people who want to stop us from having fun at a cemetery, they're just an hourly employee. They don't have any real stake in preserving the sanctity of a cemetery. The people who have died, if we could really ask them, if we could really talk to them right now, I'm pretty sure they would say, "Hey guys, I know that it's this cultural thing, but maybe we could open this up." Right? And then now I'm thinking of say Native American burial grounds, right? Where it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, let's not be blasphemous, right? Let's not. It seems more real. Cemeteries seem fake. Does it say somewhere in Christianity, in the Bible, thou shalt bury your dead in a cemetery forever? But even something like the burial mounds, right? They're sacred. I get that. But also, it's not like a Rolodex of John David's 1843 to 1921. It's like a place where people have been buried and now the earth has grown atop it. And it's a sacred place, but it's not a place where you're going to accidentally step on someone's casket and say, "Oh, sorry." It's like it becomes a part of the earth. And cemeteries just have metal fences and weird tiny roads. Anyway, I'm lost on my cemetery rant at this point. How did I get on this topic? I don't even remember. But all that to say, thank you for joining me. I don't need to go faster. I have this self-consciousness about how slow I go. But I think I'm starting to know more and more deeply that we're all tortoises, baby. Slow and steady. Do I want to throw my hat into the ring of the crazy white water rapids of intense social media hubbub and scrolling and, hey guys, 3 tips to get your best bod by summer? Do I want to throw my hat into that world? Or do I want to just be nestled over here in a corner of a soft bend of a small stream where the water's pooled and the grasses have grown and the animals have found safe haven and the frogs have laid their eggs and the katydids have flourished and the lizards sip from where I set up a small little nook and I carve out a soft little muddy seat for our bums so that we may look out across the land and squiggle our feet down into the mud and splash our hand across the top of the water and feel its warmth warmed by the daily sun and hear the gurgling of the quickness out yonder, but yet right here is not too loud, it's not too quick. We're not going to get swept away, where we can feel and hear the sounds of our own movements and the movements of our pets and our children and our dearest friends. And we can hold hands. And that's what I want to create. So, thanks for being a part of it in whatever way you are. And I'll see you down the road. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Fading in, feeling like I'm always reaching for the next moment. Fading out, fading in, fading into existence. All my mind is on the highway I'll take to get somewhere else tomorrow. I like to look instead at the place where I am. Fade in and fade out. Likely I'm feeling like I'm on the downhill, but you could not be proud. I look at you and you've been looking down. Fade in, fade out. You don't always really have to count all of your achievements. I've been looking for the reason to fade in and fade out. I'm gonna make this life really count. Fade in and fade out. I'm finally showing up in a way that I'm proud. I used to feel some type of way. I felt like life was on delay.
like I was waiting for someone else to say, here you go, here's the life you've dreamed. Here you go, right into my lap. Here you go, yeah right. Here you go, baby, here you go. Fade in and fade out. I've been feeling like I want my life to really count. Fade in and fade out. I've been searching for a reason to look into your eyes. Fade in and fade out. I'm gonna make my life really count. Fade in and fade out. This love is overflowing, can you feel it now? Fade in and fade out. My love, can you see it? It's strong, and I'm learning how. Fade in and fade out. Fade in and fade out. So, I believe in you, and I believe that we are the ones we were meant to find right here in this moment. Fade in, fade out, comes back around. Go easy on yourself. It's gonna be okay.
Wow, 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 wow.